Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at gold. It is time for another update, and on this chart we are tracking a very bullish structure where we would expect to be building a wave 3 to the upside within this area. Now for this interpretation we would need it to form an impulse, and if it fails to build such a structure we will need to consider different interpretations where potentially a wave 3 top would already be in place here instead, and this would form a wave 5 to the upside. Now, we don't need to go through all the details because currently this idea of an impulse is still standing and we are still looking to push to higher prices in this interpretation. And we will be quickly going through the count within this area, so we will show these very briefly on the chart. So we have a larger impulse formation where we have basically a series of 1-2 setups within each time frame basically. And what we are focused more specifically on is within the smaller time frame here, where we would be looking for a wave 3 to take place within this structure, and we will be looking to build a wave 4 correction and a wave 5 to take us to even higher prices, before following up with yet another larger wave 4 correction. Now, within this structure, in the previous videos we have been looking for a potential ending diagonal to take place within a wave 5. It seems likely that this structure has completed as a 5-wave pattern. We have formed a very sharp correction, actually even typical to have something like this occur after a diagonal pattern, and we have only formed a 3-wave move to the downside within this correction. Now, the thing is, we have also only managed to create a 3-wave move to the upside, which doesn't allow us to look with high probabilities for direct continuation to high prices, and we are kind of stuck in terms of not having a clear direction within this time frame. Yeah, we have a 3-wave move to the downside, we have a 3-wave move to the upside. Nothing is really suggesting in which direction we should expect to go if we are considering that this is a wave 4 correction. Given the proportions we had within this wave 2, we would ideally see yet another low, yet a reset within this wave 4 before creating the next wave to the upside within this wave 5. Now, with this in mind, it is not a necessity and we are tracking the relevant area of resistance for such an expectation, and I will be looking for the potential continuation to higher prices directly at the same time. I will mention that this wave 4 could bottom even without forming a lower low within this structure. Yeah, it is a flat correction. It could very easily form a higher low within the follow-up correction in this structure before extending to higher prices. It could form even a triangle in the end. I wouldn't overthink this, and I would still consider that this area of support between the $4,900 level down to the $4,200 level can still be an interesting accumulation opportunity. And if we are to pair that up with the internal area of support we could be tracking for continuation to higher prices within this structure, we can notice that we have a strong overlap with this area, having already touched the first level of support at $5,000. And by the way, if you like having the roadmap we provide here available, don't forget to leave a like because it helps us out a lot. It helps us provide even more content like this to you. Now, in addition to that, this is more specifically to gold relating to our channel because the previous gold videos haven't been performing well at all, and unless this will perform much better than the previous ones, I will have to move it back to the members only section because it does impact our channel's algorithm. So if you want to keep the gold updates public, you might want to share this along as well, because otherwise I will continue to provide the gold updates, but I will provide them only to members to prevent actually hurting the channel. Now, with that said, within this structure, I am tracking an ABC pattern to have formed to higher prices. I'm tracking this as a larger 3-wave pattern, and I'm looking now for even a potential extension within an ABC pattern within this area. Something like that could take place within multiple different accounts. I wouldn't overthink this situation too much. It might be even a 1-2 setup, part of the wave 5 within this white structure as an ending diagonal. It could be even part of the correction within this wave 4 in a wave B that takes us to higher prices, Remember, we still have plenty of room within the area of resistance in this idea of a flat correction, and in the end, I wouldn't overthink this expectation. Yeah, it is important, especially at this point where we don't have the direction clearly suggested with stronger probabilities in one way or the other, that we focus on the levels of resistance and the levels of support. Yeah, into our support areas that we have here in yellow and white, accumulating might be of interest for some of us. Within the area of resistance, maybe taking some profits would be of interest to others. I'm not a financial advisor and I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just sharing my opinion on where the areas that are of interest could be considered. Now, since I don't have a clear trend direction, I will be looking for evidence on what will occur further from now on within a smaller time frame. So within this structure, I'm looking even for a potential 5-wave pattern to the downside, where I might have a wave 1 down complete, a wave 2 up, and a wave 3 to the downside could also be complete itself. I could be looking at this as a wave 4. At the same time, I cannot rule out the possibility of a wave 3 to still be ongoing. In the end, I wouldn't overthink this. I would use some pointers in terms of resistance to watch for different signals of what pattern could still be ongoing. So firstly, I will be watching, actually not this one, the area of resistance for a potential wave 4. Yeah, I can track this idea of a 5-wave pattern within this blue interpretation that would allow me to look with high probabilities that after a 3-wave correction that I would get trend continuation within another 5-wave move to the downside. If we break the $5,230 level, we might get a stronger signal that, yeah, this structure is not going to form a 5-wave pattern to the downside. And thankfully, since this movement to the upside already has quite decent proportions, I believe that if we get something like an ABC structure, tracking this idea of an ABC pattern within a wave 3 might not be the most likely interpretation. I might even consider that we just got an extension in a larger ABC structure where, once again, I will be looking for a potential reversal. What is clear is that I do not want to see a 5-wave move to the downside, an initial 5-wave move to the downside, if I want to look directly for continuation to higher prices, because it might be rather suggesting that the correction would be extending after a relief rally within this area, something like that, yeah? Now, at this point, also be mindful of this previous swing high at the $5,250 level, where we have formed this previous top that might also be more difficult to break, and I need a sustained break above the 61.8% retracement here for a stronger signal that a bottom would indeed be in place, or that this structure rather would not be able to extend directly lower. At this point, I probably prefer the interpretation that this works as an ABC pattern. I just cannot completely rule out the idea of a 5-wave pattern, but depending on how this movement unfolds to the downside, I might have more of an indication. I will have quite a few interesting ideas once we form this additional low, which at this point I do find preferred, especially since within the smaller time frame, once again, we do not have a 5-wave pattern. At best, we can track here an ABC structure. Perhaps I could even track this as a WXY pattern. But in the end, I wouldn't overthink it. I would be prepared for this to continue to lower prices. This is my current preference. And once we have more of this structure available, we might be able to extract more data and more information. But for now, these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and if you enjoy our content and you want to support us, you can check out our channel membership, where you get access to a couple of cool perks, including additional content and priority to replies and stock coverages when there is a video slot open. And other than that, let me know what else you would like me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.